Okay, let's have a look how to set up the Hybris in the initial place. First, we are going to download the Hybris Ecom Suite 5510. So once you download your unpack, you will see this folder. You need to go to this folder. So I'm going to go to Hybris Commerce Suite 5.5.10. Once you locate into this location, you will see several folders. So we said that we need to go to Hybris, and we need to go to Bing. Then we need to go to Platform. So here first, you need to make sure your Java version is 1.8 something. From Hybris 5.5, you have to use 1.8. Otherwise, may have some issues. So once you have your Java version set up correctly, you will do this /set env.sh. This will set up all the Ent environment, and basically it's the prerequisite for the Ent build. Once you set up the Ent, you are going to do Ent clean all for the very first time. And you will see for the very first time there's no configure folder found. So it will tell you what's the default value. It's going to be develop or production. By default, we use develop, so we choose develop. Enter. You will see they do a bunch of build. So if you have a good machine, it should take you around 1 minute and 30 minutes or something to finish the first build. So I'm running the video recording software in the background, so it's a bit slow. But you guys should be a little bit faster than me. So basically doing all the build, copy all the resources into the according folder, set up the config folder structure, everything. And yeah, it's a bit slow, but this is the first time. So yeah, it took me 1 minute and 42 seconds to finish the whole build. So once the build finished, if there's no error, you should see build successful at the end. Once it's done, now you go back to Hybris. You will see a config folder has been generated. So let's have a look at the config folder. So you will see a bunch of files in the config folder. The import one is the local extensions.xml, and another is local.properties. We will talk about this in day 2 and day 3, the real hands-on session. For now, we just remember this is the 2 main file, config file. So if I open them in the Sublime text, which is here. I'm gonna drag and drop this guy to here. So have a look here. We have Hybris config. We have a local extension .xml, which by default will include all those extensions, and local .properties file, which by default is empty. So we're gonna customize local extension .xml a little bit. We don't want to include all the stuff, which will slow down the whole process and the initial process. We want to be lean and fast. So I will upload all those files into the gem. You don't have to type. You can just copy and paste from gem. For me, I'm gonna do one by one. So let's go through those extensions first. First section is the platform extensions. Pretty much that's the most important part. That's the whole platform. So we leave it as it is. Then we move on. We saw those BTG stuff, the commerce stuff, payment, promotions, voucher, ticket system, solar, all those stuff are important. So we probably don't want to include B2B, so we remove B2B bit. We probably don't need OCI, but we just leave it there. And wish list, commerce facades, some data. We don't need apparel store. We will focus on the electronic store. We don't need B2B. We don't need in-store sample data. Let's make it bigger. So extension content, we need product or bit for teaching purpose later. We need to CMS. We need all those stuff. Extension channel, we don't need mobile. We probably don't need in-store module. ext the add-on, we don't need to BDB checkout. We probably don't need to have the print. We're gonna remove print. And templates, we don't need all the B2B stuff basically, and in-store initial data. Extension accelerator, same, we don't need BDB stuff. So once this is done, we save this file. So pretty much we have a clean B2C e-commerce environment. Next step is set up local properties. Gonna close others. So local properties, you can see I did a bit of preparation before. I just copied from another folder to this guy. So the most essential bit, you have to set up your DB URL. For me, I'm using MyCircle. So that's the JDBC MyCircle URL. So I'm gonna change this to 55, maybe setup, commerce, driver, what's your DB username and password, and a bunch of other stuff. I will upload this file to the folder so you don't have to type. Once it's set up, we're gonna set up the DB first. So by default, Hybris will bundle with a DB called Edge SQL DB, which is kind of in-memory DB. And it's very slow and kind of buggy, so it only allows one connection. So for me, in this tutorial, we're gonna use the MyCircle. So what happened here? I'm gonna create a new database. The name should match the JDBC URL DB name. character sets, we're gonna use UTF-8. Once this is done, you should see this setup. Ready? Then we got another important bit is we're going to put the MyCircle Java connector, basically DB driver, to the right position. So we are using this guy. We have Hybris, we have Bing, we have platform, we have lib, DB driver, we have MyCircle connector. Gonna copy this guy. Copy. So all these files should be available in the gem. You can just download and copy to the location. So for my installation is, let me have a look. This one. So commerce, Hybris, Bing, platform, lib, db, and paste. Yeah, it's coming. So MyCircle connector, Java, blah blah blah. Once this is done, we go back to the terminal. We go to Bing, go to platform again. Now we're gonna add clean all again, build again basically, to make sure everything is working. If you follow me correctly, everything should work. And again, it's gonna take 1.5 minutes. So if you have good machine, it's gonna dramatically increase the speed of rebuild and restart the machine and the initialization, all those stuff. Otherwise, it's just very hard to do the daily development work, because imagine every time you write your code, you have to build, have to restart. So another thing can avoid this is using JRebel, which can automatically detect the code change and do hot restart, hot deployment. But of course, that needs a separate license and needs extra money. So while the build is still going on, oh, it's finished. Yeah, second time is a bit faster, 1 minute and 14 seconds. It's not too bad. So once this is done, we can start a server by using this command, /. If in Windows, it should be Hybris server.bat. So I'm using Mac, so I'm .sh. But once you type this, you can see the server is starting. Yeah, it's gonna take some time because lots of stuff will be loaded for the first time. So just be patient. Yeah, once it's started, you shouldn't see any errors here. Maybe a couple of warnings, but definitely you shouldn't see any error. You can see the log, it's all info, which is pretty good, which means all good. And in the last, you will see server startup in 98,000 milliseconds or something. That's pretty fast. So once this is done, you will go to your browser, type localhost 9001, that's the default port for Hybris. And first time it should take you to the initialization page. You will see initialization. So initialization is kind of set up all the DB schema, import all the essential data, project data, and set up the whole store. Import all the sample users, sample products, everything. So that's supposed to be done in the production environment. It's supposed to be done only once. Once it's initialized, if you want to keep update your system, there's another button called update. So we will go through this later. So for now, we just click initialize. You will say, are you sure you want to initialize? Which will swipe out all the current data, everything. Say yes, because it's a brand new system. So initialization is happening. It's gonna take 15 to 20 minutes depending on your machine spec. So I have SSD installed in my machine, so it's gonna take me around 15 to 20 minutes. Also remember, initially we delete some unnecessary extensions, so which is gonna speed up a little bit. So you have a lower spec machine, it's gonna take longer, maybe 30 minutes to 40 minutes. So I'm gonna pause the video for now, and we can come back to see the results of the initialization, and I will explain a little bit about initialization from the log. If you switch to the log, you will see the system initialization, the system stuff is happening. Okay. So you can see we finished the initialization after roughly 30 minutes, which is not bad. And let's quickly go through the initialization process. So first, you see this bit, initialize system. This is basically creating all the schema, so creating all the tables in the DB, creating all the indexes, all the stuff, DB structure and schema. Then we'll clear all the existing configuration, HMC configuration from DB, which I will talk about in later session, hands-on session. Then you will see a big creating essential data. Here, essential data is some data will be run repeatably every time for every initialize or update. So Hybris call this essential data. So it's part of the system. You have to have this data to keep the system running. So basically, every extension may have some essential data. You can see from here. After essential data done, it will localize the system. So Hybris is a multi-language supported system. So it can support different kind of language. So if you localize them, in this step, the system will be localized. After that is creating project data. So project data will only be run during initialize phase, and in the update phase, only if you check the box, which I will show you later, the project data will be run. So project data means some sample data stuff, which is not essential for the system, but if you want to import some sample data like existing products, you want to have sample products, you have some sample customers, sample orders, sample addresses. In this phase, all the data will be loaded. Also here you can see synchronization happening. So in Hybris they have the concept like stage and online. So basically everything, the best practice, everything should be done in the stage, then got like reviewed by somebody, and once it's reviewed, there's a process called synchronization, which will synchronize staged version to online version. So online version basically it's alive. So there's an extra layer to check the data before you publish to the production environment, basically. So that's what happened in synchronization. Synchronize the staged version and online version. And there are some job data, all the stuff, some basic stuff, saying it's gonna be finished. And in the log, you will see, in the console log, you will see finished in 30 minutes, and you will see all these logs. So shouldn't have any error. May have some warning, but shouldn't have massive error in this place. So once everything is working, we can go to localhost 9001 y-accelerator site electronics. So there's no HTTPS. You have to accept the warning. If everything is working, you should see the sample store, which by default comes with electronic store. You can see it's a B2C electronic store and some apparel store. But remember, we removed the apparel store. So basically, we will use electronic store as a training demo purpose. So at this stage, you will see the electronic store should be set up, and you can play around. So if everything is correct, the Hybris system now should be up and running, and you can access to various cockpits, which I'm gonna cover in the next session. So that's the end of the Hybris setup. Thank you.